lie. It's like I'm gonna spit some real shit for y'all right now. It's like, look, like when you grow up in the trenches, it's like society treats you different, man. Like look at you different. It's like, man, you coming from where we from, man. We were on the come with you. Look. They treat you different when you from the trenches. Bitch, I didn't grow up in no burb, I grew up in the village. Tryna get that shit up off the curb, I turned it to a menace. I wasn't hanging around with no girls, bitch, I was hitting fences. Childhood trauma, take it back to about the age of 9. Gunshot sounding like fireworks on 4th of July. I told my sisters and cousins that we gon' be alright as long as we stay solid, protect each other through eerie nights. Childhood trauma, my mama, she worked a 9 to 5. Still managed to come home with fetus when it was dinner time. Still managed to curve on the visas up in the wintertime.
I just want to say, boy, it's hot in here. But, I want to say, welcome to the Keilah and Skipp show. I was about to switch it and say Skipp and Keilah, but Keilah's back, you guys. Glad to have her. I always, whenever I approach the microphone, I want to give all honor and praise to God. I just want to say I thank God for being alive and well. I'm not dead, not in jail, and I'm truly grateful for that. I can feel the air coming on. I'm grateful that God created air. And I just want to give a shout out to Sister Heron. I always give her a shout out because she got me into doing radio and podcasts back in 2009. I was just a foot soldier and I didn't want to do nothing on TV, radio. I just wanted to keep my feet 10 toes on the pavement. So I thank Sister for allowing me to see how necessary a platform really is. And my mentor, Bo Taylor. But it's not about me. I want to skip over my guest right now and bring in the host of the show. I am the co-host. She is the one who ran off of my $50 and a dog went to Chipotle or something. No, Chipotle. Well, Chick-fil-A. And I ain't seen her since, but everybody give her a round of applause. Man, I got Keilah back. Yes, indeed.
Okay, we got to clear up this lie that you spread, making the people think that I just disappeared, which is not true. Like there was no conversation between us. So what had happened was, I'm a dog trainer. If you've been, watching us, then you know that's my trade. And I had a video of me training go viral, and I had over 100 inquiries from Inglewood people like, I need my dog trained. So I had to take a step back because my schedule didn't permit me to come and do the show anymore. So that's what happened. There was a conversation. Okay. I didn't run off on him. I didn't disappear.
All right. Well, last time I saw you was at Chick-fil-A, though, right?
That's true.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, you was creeping.
Right. So there's a little bit of truth in there, right?
Right.
I just didn't give you the $50. You had your own $50.
I did.
I didn't give you the $50, but.
And I didn't run off on you.
Okay.
Like we had a conversation.
Oh, okay.
I told you beforehand what was
indeed.
going on, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But when I used to smoke a lot of weed when I was younger, so I don't be remembering
the brain
stuff.
cells.
Yeah, the brain cells is gone. So you could talk to me today, and I'll forget tomorrow.
Is that weed or age?
No, it's weed.
Okay.
I'm still young. And they call me YG Active from.
In the heart, but is your brain still young?
No, my brain is young.
Okay.
Yes, indeed.
Okay.
Well, we could debate that any other day, but look, I got a guy who came here today. There's no debating. When I talk to this brother, he could tell me the names of the owners, what year they sold, their radio stations, and for those who might have seen me with a group at Power 106. That's how our conversation came about because I was with the group saying, hey, there are no black programmers. There are no black managers. Nobody in a position of power. So I am not racist. I just want to let everybody know that. I just want somebody who looks like me to be in a position of power for programming. And not just Power 106, but all these other radio stations other than KBLA, which is Tavis Smiley. Other than KJLH, which is owned by Stevie Wonder, of course, they put people in a position of power. But, man, you got so much knowledge, man. Share with the world who you are, man. What's your name, man?
Man, my name is Michael Argento. That's my government name, But my radio name was Mike Live.
Mike Live. And what stations were you on, Mike Live?
I was on K-Day when I was 21. That was the first station that really blessed me to be on air. They gave me a weekend Sunday morning shift. Okay. And I was 21, man, and
Let me ask, Sunday morning, did they think that it wasn't going to be a lot of people listening?
Oh, of course. That's exactly what they did. They gave me the morning slot way early when no one's up. And I took calls, recorded, a lot of people's shout outs, played them on the air. That was something that when Keilah first came back out, I was hired as a board operator. And so the mornings, all I did was take phone calls. And in between every single song, when they first launched, you would hear somebody saying, yo, this is blah, blah, I'm from the city. Let me shout out. Blah, blah, blah. Hey, yo, play that second to none. Boom. And then, and so the mornings when Keilah first launched, they didn't have an on-air personality. They just said, Mike, run the board, do something creative. And what was I going to do when people were calling me, crying about how Keilah came back, and I was capturing this audio and playing it on the air for these people listening to songs that they ain't heard in like 15 years since.
So they didn't want your voice? They didn't want you to give any
No,
input?
they just hired me as a board op. They said, just run the board, just every morning come in, run the board. And I had a lot of fun doing that, man. I think I had more fun doing that than actually becoming the host, because it was really nice to mesh the music together with the callers, with the imaging, production, learning levels. In radio nowadays, you listen to the radio, and for those that don't understand, the levels, you'll hear something come in real loud or a commercial come in real loud. Right. It's because the person who's on that radio board is not playing with the levels the way they should be monitoring the levels. They're taking a leak. They're talking to the homie. They're texting. So the radio, a lot of the radio is not really flawless like that anymore. It's all pre-programmed. It's all, hey, there's one guy that'll just sit there and put the sweeper, set it all up in between, and then boom, it plays on the air. And it's, a lot of it has become that because of the lack of radio jobs.
Oh, so let me ask you this, man. When that happens, does that mean they don't need a DJ? That means they don't need a host? They don't need a personality?
Yeah.
What it means is they just running with something that was pre-recorded.
Well, the whole radio business is turning to syndication. And what's happening is you have on-air personalities that are becoming syndicated shows, right, who have been doing it for a long time, have packaged themselves really well, and are now going, okay, now it's time to go to a network that syndicates, that can put us on 50 radio stations across the U.S. Right. And so the big people that are doing radio are actually the ones that are, being syndicated, the big boys, the Nick Cannons. These guys have companies they go to that syndicate their shows, and put them across the U.S. So it cuts out the local DJ. It cuts out the local people. It cuts out all the local staff. It cuts out a lot of salaries, that we used to have in the 90s. We used to have in the early 2000s. That's not happening anymore. Right. You got DJs that are just sending in mixes to the radio station, or you have DJs that are actually at the radio station just hitting buttons. They just hitting buttons. I mean, they're just playing a show.
So is the hosting part ever live?
Yes, it is. Certain slots are still live in L.A., but when you hear big names, just know that those names are most likely syndicated. If you're in Kentucky and you hear Big Boy, where's Big Boy at? He's in L.A. You know what I'm saying? So the local person who's in Kentucky is not going to be hearing somebody who's actually running stuff in Kentucky, because these big corporations, they own a lot of these radio stations.
That makes sense.
So, yeah.
So let me ask you about programming. Let me ask you about management. Was anybody black in management?
Throughout, like, just in my radio career? Or
no, just when you were starting at Keilah, when they gave you the chance.
Yeah, there was a guy named Steve Hegwood, and he was an African-American gentleman who actually, he was the first person to put on Ludacris on the radio in Atlanta. And Steve is a really big name in the business now. He has his own broadcasting company. He went in and bought radio stations and really took it to the next level. So shout out to Steve Hegwood. But yeah, there are people in it, but the problem is, specifically when I talked to you, and this was off the air, right, we spoke about Power 106, right? Right. And Power 106 is owned by Murillo Media. So Murillo Media,
is that Italian?
It's actually Hispanic, yeah.
Oh, is it?
So, she knows.
That's
she
a
knows.
Hispanic last name.
Murillo. Yeah, exactly. Oh. Yeah. I'm the white guy, Murillo, But yeah, no, it's so yeah, that's what's happening at Power 106, and they own Keilah, obviously. And so we know the DJs, we know who's been there forever. And we also know, you know who the program director is. Shout out to DJ E-Man. He's the program director, Filipino cat, but he's been in radio for a long time, so well-deserved. But the reality is, you're right. There isn't as many African Americans on local hip-hop radio in L.A., period. Right. When you look at the Power 106 website, and, look, I want to say this before I even continue this. I got nothing against Power 106. I got nothing against anyone who runs Power 106. What I wanted to state was the truth and how things are.
Right.
And if you go to their website, go look at their on-air staff. What is it, 3 African Americans on Power 106 right now?
I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's like
And those
3.
are DJs, but those aren't in programming or management positions, right?
I mean, no.
Right.
No, they're not, at least from
So
my
for
recollection.
me, I don't want to throw rocks at Power 106. What I really want to do, seriously, I want to have a conversation and ask them why. I want to know, did they not think that there was anybody of substance that they could put in these positions?
Yeah.
Or was it just based on like nepotism? Like, oh, I've been knowing this guy forever. I've been knowing this person. That's my nephew or my son or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I just really want to know. I didn't want to throw rocks at them or, cuss them out or whatever. I just wanted to have a conversation. But I
Did
guess,
they respond or no?
not to me, but I have ace in the hole, Minister Tony Muhammad, who said, man, we can get a sit down with the radio station, but I just didn't want it to be at the time where we're going back and forth like it's black, it's brown, it's black, because that's not what I'm about.
Right.
I'm not about going back and forth with black and brown. And anytime I want to tie my shoes, I'm not going to get mad at the other dude for tying his shoes. Mm-hmm. Anytime I go to the store so I can feed my family, I'm not mad at anybody else for going to the store to feed their family. So it's not either or, it's both of us.
Yeah.
Let's have a conversation. Let's build something or put something together. So that's why I didn't continue the push to go speak with the powers that be at Power 106. But while I was there, I saw a guy come out with a shirt on that said Keilah 93.5.
Yeah. Yep.
So they're in the same building.
K-Day's up there.
And that's owned by,
Murillo Media.
those are Latino.
But
They're
wasn't
not
there was
Italian.
something that sparked this whole kind of outcry?
Yes.
Yeah.
Who was this? There was a guy,
Yes.
right, who was saying some
Yes.
shit.
Yes.
Is he
So-
a host or who?
No, but he was given a platform to call out Tyga for Tyga's video. Tyga's video, hey caramba, whatever. People felt that some people felt like it was disrespectful. And this guy, he used his platform, because he has a nice following. He used his platform to get him and his relationships, to get him into power, and he was able to call out Tyga. And then Tyga conceded, came in and said, look, didn't mean to offend you. I apologize. I'll take the video down if it offends people. But there was some back and forth between him and another gentleman, Tariq Nasheed or something like that. And see, I purposely didn't do any research on Tariq Nasheed because I don't know him. I never met him. I never talked to him. So I don't want to be sitting here defending somebody I don't know. So I don't know if he was racist, if he had anything to say or not. But what I did is I stopped and said, you know what, this is not about Gil. This is not about the American Cholo. Because I want him to tell me, in his own words, how does he feel about black people or reparations and all the stuff. So I didn't want to attack him, just like I didn't want to attack Tariq Nasheed or whatever. I wanted it to really be about Power 106. Yeah. And when I saw that this group might have said something defamatory about immigration, and then this group over here used the N-word several times, I said, okay, well, let me back up. Let me talk to experts. Let me talk to people who are really in the know of who owns the radio station and who's a part of it. But my personal opinion got people to start throwing rocks at me because I said that I believe Tyga should have apologized to the fact where, like, I didn't mean to offend you. I'm not going to take my video down, but it was not put up to offend you. And people said, oh, no, well, then that means you're racist if you... But that doesn't mean I'm racist. I just thought, like, in my heart, that Tyga didn't do it to offend people. He did it because I think he believed it was funny.
Right.
And if some people believed it wasn't funny, then it was never the intent to purposely...
Was it the video that was offensive? Because I haven't seen it. Or was it just the genre that he was kind of aiming toward?
Well, some people felt disrespected by the genre. Snoop Dogg and YG had songs that were Latin based, and some people were saying like, "Yeah, we shit was hollering at them when they did it." Like, "Hey, don't do that." But some people said because there was a girl rubbing his feet, a Latin girl rubbing his feet while he was eating nachos. So they said, "Come on, man, you gotta Latin girl rubbing your feet and you eating nachos and you think that's not disrespectful. You know,
Gotcha.
so I can understand where like, okay, yeah, you got to have a healthy balance or something. But that was never my intention to call out people. Yeah.
You know what I find to be interesting about all this is that what happened at Power 106, which is public airways.
Right.
Like, this is public, right? This is
Right.
not supposed to be which it's turned into monopoly of corporations owning radio stations
Right.
and not allowing for people to actually have platforms.
Right.
That's the sad part to me. It's like somebody that runs for office, right? They
Right.
get in and they're in there how many years? I mean, there's certain people in the government that we keep seeing over and over. The guys like Mitch McConnell, who we just keep seeing over and over. And it's like, how is this guy still in office? Like, he's been running this shit, and why is he running it? Excuse my language. Why is he running it, though? Like, it has to be that way as far as, you know, or it has to change to where radio can start putting different people in positions to give them a platform. Radio's not doing that. Public radio's not doing that. People like iHeartMedia, who own literally 7 radio stations in LA.
Which ones, man?
They own KFI, 104.3, KISS FM, Coast 103.5, 92.3.
92.3. That's the music
that's real.
she listens to.
That's real 92.3. Yeah, they own them too.
crazy.
And I think they own 2 other ones that are AM stations, you know,
You
news
listen
talk
to
and
that?
stuff.
92.3?
I don't listen to the radio.
You don't?
See?
Do you have one in your car?
I do.
Do you have one at home?
On my TV, I guess you could say.
Okay.
That's
And you
about
don't
it.
listen?
I don't.
What do you
they
listen
play
to?
the same 10 songs over and over.
Okay,
and
what
over
are
and
what are
over.
the top 10 songs? I don't know.
I can't tell you because I don't listen to the radio.
I listen
don't
to the
even know
stuff
what's
that you
popping
play.
right
I
now.
listen to Second to None, DJ
Right.
Quick.
Old school.
I'm listening to Snoop Dogg,
Yeah,
Tupac. Listen to
What
Today
she
Was
just
a Good
said
Day.
has been said for the last 10 plus years.
Oh, definitely.
That's a problem.
But do you know why? Of
Yeah.
course you know why.
I know why.
Tell me. Tell us.
You really want to know why?
Absolutely.
All right, here's the deal. Radio stations are just owned by corporate America. Okay, let's be honest. When you watch CNN, when you watch these other networks, there is a storyline that they start with, and it starts on a Monday, and it goes all the way to like Friday, Saturday. And it's a news dump on a Friday. And at Friday, some big thing will pop off. By Monday, you forgot about it. And it's the same programming is being on your television, it's being on your radio, it's the same thing. So what's happening in the radio business is a shame. Like I said, I want to go back to the local aspect of radio. I work for a syndicated radio network. I'm not going to say their name, but I sold shows for their network. Okay, my job was to sell shows for $60,000 a year, to go in there and sit on the phone and call program directors all day and say, do you need a weekend personality? Do you need this? And make sure that these people knew that this company I work for were there and to give you that content. That has become a huge problem in radio because you're taking the local aspect out of it. When you have people that are making $60,000 a year to call, how many calls do you think I made a day when I worked at that
Man,
company?
you probably made about 10 calls, 15 calls an hour, probably.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. And if they hung up on me and said, we don't want to hear it, I said, don't worry, can I send you an email? And at least let me send you an email or something, right? So I'm pushing these shows heavy, right? There's other companies out there doing the same thing. You think anybody's doing that for Mike Live?
No, not at all.
You think anybody calling anybody saying, yo, this dude Mike, he's got this show over at this spot, and he doing this?
Hey, is anybody doing this for Keilah and Skipp show?
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
I had a person tell me today at my job that I work at, was like, yo, I do this podcast, Mike. I heard you in radio. Can you help me out? Like, how do I get it out there? I've always had this one thing I've lived by.
What's that?
Is being honest and just who you are.
Right.
That's it. When you're honest in who you are, it goes a long way. I've talked to people from Kanye to Nipsey Hussle to you name it in the music business, and I've talked to them, interviewed them, sat with them, found them at a time where they weren't worldwide, you know? And it was a different vibe because it was just them. They pulled up by themselves. It was honest. It was genuine, you know?
I missed an opportunity to talk to Nipsey, honestly and genuinely. Yeah, I missed it. Back when he was putting up signs for his first album, he was real skinny, he had the braids or whatever, blue jacket on, the hood, and all that.
Hustle in the house, Nick.
Yeah, I was like, man, that's a crib. That's a 60 crib. You know, and then I go to shake his hand, he give me the 2 fingers, and I'm like, man, and the guy I was with said, man, he's the next Tupac. I said, I don't think so, man. I think he's the next 60 crib. You know what I mean? And I missed an opportunity to see where he was or what was going on because it was early in his career. So yeah.
Yeah. No, Nip, man, I called him. I was actually the first person to bring Nipsey Hussle up to iHeartRadio. It was Clear Channel at the time. And my boy gave me his number, and I called him, and he
Clear
pulled
Channel
up.
owns a lot too.
They own
They're
the
iHeart signs.
They're iHeart though.
You know the signs where people put their advertising
outdoor
on.
campaigns.
Outdoor campaign. Well, you know the name for it.
Yeah, outdoor
they
campaigns.
signs. They outdoor signs to me, but they outdoor campaigns.
Yeah,
right?
outdoor
Exactly.
campaigns. Yeah.
Yeah,
But I called Nip and was like, yo, come up, man. I want to talk to you. I have a little internet radio station, but I work at KISS at the time. He's like, yeah, I'll come up. Smoke the blunt in the car with him.
Now, how
Just
do you
hung out
do
with
that?
him.
How do you do music for KISS at the same time you do music for K-Day? Yeah, at some point I had to be fake. If I work at KISS, I'm like, man, I like that and that, but I don't really like this one.
Well, I did production for KISS. I was doing all the sweepers, all the sound effects. Weekends, they give away tickets to Disneyland. I put all that together within 30 seconds.
Oh, okay.
And I would submit that to KISS, and then they would say, all right, change this, do that, and then put it on
you'd
the radio.
have like the horn hunk, beep,
All
beep,
of
and
it.
all that.
All
type of
that.
stuff.
I got gigs
the
and sound
traffic,
effects.
the traffic going in the background.
Gigs
all
and
that.
sound effects.
Right.
That's what I do. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And I do
okay.
all the production for my show too, man. That's another thing I'm really proud of. Like, I could literally do a radio show from top to bottom sonically and make it sound dope.
All right.
If I need a sound effect, if y'all need something, you can let me know. I can.
Come on, man.
You know,
We need
yeah,
all
come
that,
on, man.
I need. Can you like put her voice, make it come in every now and again? Because she ain't gonna be here.
Oh yeah, you could just have her like, hey, go to her and just tell her like hit the news or something. She could just give a quick little generic news update. Yeah, man, come on,
That's
man. It's
something
radio,
right there.
man.
I just need some booze. Once he starts talking,
That's it.
boo.
That's it. Some
That's
boo. Nah, you good. You good.
Okay, but for real though, like, what's the real reason why there's only the same songs playing?
Oh,
over
as
and
far
over
as
and over?
programming, well, the record labels, you know. So I'm gonna give you a quick story. I went in.
Suge Knights.
I'm gonna give you a quick
Play
little
my
story.
stuff, or else.
I wanted to play a record by an artist called Eastwood, and
I know Eastwood.
so I went into the radio station when I was at K-Day, and I sat with the program director. I was like, yo, I really like this record. It's featuring E40. Like, we need to play this shit. This is hot. He's like, I don't have room for it on my radio station right now.
Right, you get that? You get that?
So,
I'm not
there
even
it is.
listening to see how dope it is, or to
Right.
get the
I don't have room for it.
man.
That was the answer. Like, literally, I was like, can I play 30 seconds for you real quick just so you can hear it? He's like, all right, play it. 30 seconds. All right, man, I ain't got room for it. I'm like, so the real reason is these record labels are in with the radio stations. They pay, they do whatever. They fly program directors out, they give them tickets, they do whatever it takes to get their music on. Maybe it's on an overnight. They started on an overnight. Maybe it moves to midday. All of a sudden now you're in rotation 40 times a day. And it goes to what you said was you hear the same 10 songs on the radio over and over because of either this or, you know, it's
It's
some kind of connect.
the record labels, the distributors. I got a friend who's in music, right? And he had a song that I thought was real stupid. He said, blase, 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 blase. He come out my neighborhood, right, blase. I said, I really like this dude, but that song is stupid. But they kept playing it until I finally liked it. Do you know that song? Blase, blase.
T.Y.?
Yeah,
T.Y.
Ty
Dolla
Dolla
Sign?
Sign,
Yeah.
yeah. And I'm thinking, man, that's the stupidest shit in the world, but he did good with it. You know what I mean?
He did real good with
He
it.
did real good with it. So it's like, I know it's pay to play.
Pay to play, man.
Pay
That's
to
that's
play.
what's going on in the radio.
And he got a major label. But then I know a guy live down the street, don't have the major money. And he get mad every time I say that. But I love you, Joe Moses. But, you know, he didn't go like Ty Dolla. They come out the same camp, same everything. And he didn't go that big. But, man, some of his songs was fire.
Oh, he still got some fire right now.
Yeah.
He's really, I like his music.
I
man.
like him too, but
Yeah.
but he's not international. He's not.
No.
So
You know what? I always
What
said this, like
happens?
a J-Rock, right? For example.
exactly,
Right?
J Rock too. Yeah.
I was listening to J-Rock before TDE, before all of it,
Right.
right? And I remember it was Punch. You know who Punch is at TDE? Punch? Okay, Punch told me, he was like, yo, Mike, what's it going to take to get J-Rock off the ground? He just got this deal at Warner and da-da-da. And I'm like, bro, you just got to stay consistent. You just got to stay consistent. Instead, he got him a Kendrick. And that was it.
Damn.
And it's just like,
J-Rock
you know,
was
his music didn't go as well as he wanted it to, but Kendrick's did.
right.
And he was able to, you know, help support what he was, you know.
Right.
And collectively, TDE was the new, in my opinion, the new Death Row.
Right.
And then now by TDE, this is on to the next, because you know Kendrick's not there.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
not?
He's leaving. He's gone.
Where's he at?
He started PG Lane. Yeah. I think it's PG,
What you
right?
thinking now, Dreamville?
You know, I don't know. I think Kendrick is on a different page. You know, as far as his music goes, he's a daddy now. You know, it's this last album was very telling on I think where Kendrick wants to go in his life, and people don't want to come to face like what's really going on in the world. You know, and it's a good and evil fight right now.
Right.
You know, and Kendrick on his album, you can feel that.
Right.
You can really hear that. Like he dreamt about all those songs. Like he was really like in it when he wrote that album. You know,
Right. So do people really like that, or do they want to hear the same old stuff coming from, you know, the dudes that's talking about I got
Can I be
an
honest
AK
with you, Skip?
yeah,
I think
come on.
people don't know anything. I think
That's-
people are
that's-
completely stupid. I love everybody for real. Like I love you, but
Y'all heard that
people
from
are
Mike,
out
man.
of it.
Like,
Y'all
if
are
y'all
out of it.
listening
I
to
second
these,
that motion.
if
You
y'all
know?
listening to these same 10 songs that's floating around in rotation, I'm gonna have to agree with Mike. Y'all stupid.
They're stupid. I mean, come on, people.
It's
Yeah,
like
I'm
we're
talking
being
about you and
conditioned
you
that
and
way,
you.
though.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
really are. Like now with social media, you have the TikTok songs that are becoming popular, these little dumbass songs. And now it's like we're just conditioned for these same few songs, and that's the type
That's
that we
why I
want
don't
to
listen
hear.
to them. I have what you call that, a flash drive in my car that plays the Ohio Players, Isley Brothers, Cameo. And I was listening to Cameo, man. I did not know that. I'm listening to Cameo singing their songs, and they had some gay lyrics in there. Man. They said it's what they say in Strange said that it's like an invisible man in drag. And I said, damn.
Hey, you know they were
And
smoking
they say,
some.
and I like it.
Hey,
I was like, man, if that,
but they
but
smoking something. for
nothing
sure.
against gay people. I
No,
don't need
not at
y'all
all.
side.
Not at all.
I'm just saying, when I was a kid, I
Yeah.
wasn't listening to the lyrics like I am now. But I listened to the to the same old songs, about 500 of them. But
love
they
it.
all.
I'm the
old.
same way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
I
see
have
that?
a playlist for every like type of mood, and that's all I listen to. I literally couldn't tell you one popping song on the radio right now.
Yeah.
No idea.
Let me think. What have I heard on the radio? I ain't even heard nothing.
You know, Larry June out the Bay Area is. I think he's somebody who's really dope. I think
He
a
just
lot of
dropped
people-
something, right?
Yeah, Larry
I said,
June.
you know.
I heard that he dropped something because
You
I'm
not heard
on
the
Twitter
song?
heavy, but I don't listen to him.
Yeah.
I might have to try it though.
And him and Jay Worthy, who's from out here in LA too. Jay Worthy got some shit on there with him.
I'd have thought that was a basketball player.
That's probably why he said Worthy as last.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I have no idea who.
Yeah.
There's a June from off of Figueroa on 115th. I think it's June 1. I don't know if he has a song. He ain't from the Bay Area.
You got. I think you would like Larry June because he's
Larry June, okay.
heavily influenced some funk in there.
Okay.
He's got some funk in there. He takes it kind of like on that 80s, 90s.
Right.
You know, sit back, enjoy the ride, smoke one. You know, have a drink.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
That's real
Larry
good.
I'm gonna
June.
have to see what's up.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: the music that Power plays, the
Yeah.
music that Keilah plays, the music that 92, what is it, 92.3, that they play, is that considered black music? What is that considered? What
Wow.
do they call it? Because a lot of people are saying to the Latin community, you know, well, y'all play our music, you follow our trends, you this and that. And I had Hutch from Butter Law up here a couple weeks ago, and he said that most of his following was Mexican, Chicano.
Yeah.
You know, so what do you call the music, and is it a separation?
You know, Skip, I always say this on every interview, and I say it to people who come to my show. And I'm not African American. My dad is Italian, and he came here from Italy, and my mom's Greek, so I'm a European. So anytime I ask
So
somebody...
you eat Mediterranean food?
Yeah, Mediterranean for real. I'm pita bread, all that hummus. When I talk to someone, I always ask them, from your perspective as an African American, how do you feel about what's going on in your area or in where you're from? Right? I don't speak for African Americans. I just don't. You know, that's not what I do. But what I do is I see what these radio stations play, and a lot of it's black culture. Okay,
black culture.
So it's black culture. Black culture not only is something that is of popular culture, but it has turned the world to really start realizing what's going on. I feel like African Americans will say something before a white person will say something. That's just my personal opinion as a white guy, right?
Right.
I think it's because there's a stigma towards the white people saying something that you're like, oh, be careful what you say because, you know, African American might get mad, so watch your mouth, you know. But I feel like it's because of how this world has kind of turned us to believe a certain thing, you know. Right. I don't think hip hop is owned by just black culture. I think it's owned by culture. Okay. If you're born in Los Angeles and the homies across the street are African American and the homies to the left are Filipino and the homies over there are Creole and the homies over here, I mean, in
we
LA,
listen to the same music.
You get what I'm saying? So
right.
It's, to me, listening to hip hop and rap, it's definitely black culture, but it's now become more of popular culture. Right. And I told you this on the phone when we talked. People call me crazy when I said Eminem was a pop artist.
Right.
I said he was a pop artist. Yeah, he could rap, but he's a pop artist. And right. the world knows who Eminem is. You know what right. I'm saying? Mm. So, and people thought I was stupid for saying that. No, he's not, bro. He's hip hop. He's rap. Okay. Right. Then how come people in Italy are singing all of his songs? Hi, my name is. Oh, that's a TikTok thing too, right? Right. Right. Chinese people. It's huge. Right. It's huge. Yeah. So to answer your question, that's kind of how I want to, answer that question, man, is right. It's becoming pop. It's becoming regular. It's okay. So what's a strategy or suggestion of how not to ask Power to do anything, man? I don't want nothing from you, Power. Keep doing what you've been doing, but to empower the community so we take control of our music. I'm so glad you asked, Skipp, because I have the greatest plan in the world. Yeah, tell me the greatest plan. The radio stations wouldn't be anything without the music. That's number one. So who needs to come in there?
Artists.
That's it. You said it. The Joe Moses, the DJ Quicks, the Kendrick Lamars. I mean, something's got to change. Right. The only way I see anything happening is if artists step it up. Step it up. Like I supported your music for all these years. The least you could do is go up to the radio station and say, "How come Mike Live ain't on the air? Right. How come Skipp ain't on the air? How come you ain't?" I mean, like why is it that we can't have an opportunity to at least have a show? That's what we're doing right now. So everybody got their own camera. This one is mine. Let's go. Keilah, that one's yours. Mike, yours is in the middle. Come on, man. You know a lot of people. I know some people. Okay. Go up your old interviews and tell them why Mike Live ain't on the air. Why Keilah? Why Skipp ain't on the air? Come on, talk to him. Tell him. And don't tell me it's because my resume is PDF. Okay, wait. My resume is PDF. What does that mean? Oh, Skipp. I don't know what that means. I had to put it in PDF so they don't change it, right? Every time you send your resume on the internet now, a program receives your resume, and if it can't pick out keywords to the job position, you're not getting the job. It's true. Because it's a PDF file. How do you know that and you didn't tell me that? Oh, sorry. How sad is that, I haven't applied for a job in a long time, but still I need to know that. How sad is that, though? Yes, that is. It's not even going to the program director's desk. I can have 20 years of radio experience, and they're not even looking at my resume. I mean, I normally charge $100 for stuff like that. But you just gave that to the audience for free. For free. But that's the thing. Put it in PDF. Go ahead. I know that one of the tricks is you use the words that they're looking for. Oh, definitely. So when you're putting in the experience that you have in the past, you pick out words that they use, the keywords in their advertisement, and put that into your resume. I learned that's the same way to write a grant. Not to use the words that I want, but read the grant. And if they said this is for youth programming, and I get in the grant and start saying, well, I'm going to do life skills, I'm going to do youth transportation, all that. Getting it. I'm not getting it because they said youth programming. Skipp, you need and I'm thinking that's too I need a grant, broad. Skipp. Right. So just, me too, I'm going to tell you. You and me, let's start our own radio station. I normally charge $100. Oh, I'm going to give you this for free. Getting it for free. The same thing that I put in the grant is just the same thing that they put in the RFP. The same thing they put in the request for proposal, and they state how much money they're giving, how much time you should have been doing this work already, the amount of people you should be working with, and how often they want checks and balances. They want to see a measurable outcome, this and that, and this is what the money is for. I do not change that. Wow. When I write the grant, I put that this is what I'm going to do with the money. This is how often I'm going to do it. This is the same amount of people I'm going to use. This is how long I've been doing this work. Man? I got to write these notes, man. It's just... Hey, you're going to be able to play this back. But I learned that from a lady, Jaylene, used to run the Flint Ridge Center.
And me and this guy, Jeff, we stayed up for 2 days straight, didn't go home, didn't take a bath, none of that, just writing this grant.
Dirty.
And she said, yes, we stank. But she said this right here is really nice and you guys can really do something. But what did the grant say? And I said, but we stayed up too and we really thought it out and we really loved the people. And she said, but what did the grant say? Wow. What did they say they wanted you to do? Because you didn't put that in here. Say, no, because we're going to do more and we're going to help these kids and those kids. She said, what did the grant say? I was like, damn, Jaylene. She said, just go spend another 2 days, do it over. But that's food for thought.
Did you get the grant?
No, we didn't.
All right, let's try again, Skip. Come
yeah,
on.
no, I'm keep going. No, I'm keep going after grant. Hey, let me tell you, man, I had a letter from LAPD chief and Councilmember Herb Wesson that sent letters to these people that I was going after a grant. And they said, you would be crazy to a city of Pasadena. They said you would be crazy to not have second call as your gang intervention. This come from LAPD chief. Do you know they said somebody else who was living in Las Vegas scored higher on the grant? Say, because he made 25,000 calls per year.
Shoot.
And I'm like, man, if you got to... So that lets me know, too, that sometimes the grant are written for certain people.
Right.
Like, say, for example, if, you know, your uncle or somebody said, I got this money, man, tell Skip to write for it.
Right.
What he would do is say, Skip, how long you been doing this? And what do you plan to do with this? And then that's what he's going to ask for. Wow. Everything that I qualify for. So then when everybody else said, oh, this grant is out, and I write for it, they say, yeah, Skip had the best, because I match word for word what they're asking for.
There you go.
And somebody else might be a little better.
It goes back to the word.
It goes back.
It goes back to the word.
So I just want to say, I know Corrupt. I know Joe Moses, Ty Dollar, Chris Brown. Come on, man. We did basketball games. Man, I need y'all to go back to Ice Cube. Put me in 2 documentaries.
Come on,
without
man.
even speaking to me. He had somebody get me in the documentaries, man. I appreciate you, Ice Cube. I need y'all to go to these radio stations and say, hey, look, man, we need to have somebody who looks like me, either in a position of power or every morning. Even put me on Sunday morning to talk about community issues.
Oh, come on, man.
And I'll get the dog and Keilah into the studio with us Sunday morning on the radio. Let's make that happen.
I would love
because
that.
we need to. Because what happens when I talk is I always talk peace.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk life into something.
Hey, tell them we don't need syndicated radio on Sunday mornings. We need local radio.
Nah, we definitely need that Crenshaw and Vernon, man.
Yes.
We need that Crenshaw and Slauson.
Come on.
We need Crenshaw and we need Florence and Normandy, man. We need Vermont Central Avenue. We need South
You know who
Park,
we should go to, too, is
Watts.
Sirius. We should go to Sirius XM. They got beautiful studios right there off La Brea, man.
Is that right?
Yeah, we should go over there. We should say, hey, let's round the troops up and go over there, because that would be...
And this is what I do. If Sirius gives us the time of day, man, we would take those power listeners.
100.
That's the thing.
100.
To take the power listeners, say, you guys didn't appreciate us.
There you go.
So now we're going to another radio station. Got KBLA, shout out to Tavis Smiley, right across the street. Stevie Wonder's been doing this thing, man, since... I'm going to give you a little bit about Stevie Wonder, too. He has 102.3, right?
KGLH.
So let me tell you guys that when I was a child, there was a radio station called Cute 102. And Stevie Wonder bought Cute 102. However, the guys on the east side, they started a gang called Cute 102 after that radio station. So if you guys over there, shout out to the East Coast Crips, the Cute 102s on 102nd in town. They took that name, and people don't know where that name come from, but I remember the radio station.
Wow.
What people don't realize, too, is that there are some guys in Gardena called the Paybacks. And other guys called the Shotgun, because James Brown had a song called The Big Payback. Guys down the street on 132nd and Van Ness said, okay, we the Shotguns. Remember that song?
Yeah.
Shotgun. Shoot 'em, boy. Right now, don't shoot 'em, boy. Not right now. But, yeah.
Hey, Skip, can I ask you a question? I thought of this because I did my research on you too, man. What's one of the inspirational things for you to really, get into what you did with the gangs and everything? Like, what was something that sparked your interest to be like, yo, I want to get into this to really help this situation out?
Man, I think it would have to be Bo Taylor, man. I give all credit to Bo Taylor when 1992, when he was trying to get us to sit down, Crips and Bloods. I said, boy, that Bo show is crazy. I ain't going to do that. These are dudes who knocked my tooth out, shot me, hit me in the back of the head, all that. Man, I'm not sitting with them. And Bo had a tow truck. And he called me one day and said, hey, Skip, man, I know this lady need a tow. It's $100. So 1992, $100, borderline of $1 million for me. You know what I mean? So I go do the $100 tow, and I'm like, man, I need to pay you back. So when I called Bo and I said, hey, Bo, you still got your truck? He said, yeah, why? I said, man, because I got somebody who needs a tow, and I want to just return the favor. He said, man, go get that tow, Skipp. Matter of fact, get your money together, come buy my truck. And I'm like, well, how are you making money? Doing what you're doing, putting the Crips and Bloods together. He said, it's not about the money, man. I'll share it with you later. But he said, man, get your money together. Come get this truck. I don't want it no more. And I was watching Bo, like, to me, throw his life away to help people. And I said, what the hell is wrong with Bo? But then I would hear Bo on the radio. He was on the beat with Dominique DePrima and the Poetess, and he'd have people with him, and he would say, tell them who you are. Tell them where you're from. And the guys would get on and say, oh, I'm from Schoolyard Crip, or I'm from Gear Gang. And I was like, oh, that's stupid. And I turned the radio off. I don't want to hear it. But I was proud of Bo, but I didn't get the whole picture of what he was doing. I didn't feel or see the impact that he was making because it was small. He was taking baby steps. He was taking a bunch of baby steps, and I was like, man, this ain't worth it. I'm making money. I'm making about $3,000 a week. So when I finally got with Bo, he said, well, Skipp, I can only give you $1,500. And I said, man, we grown. How can I live off $1,500 a week? He said, nah, Skipp, it's a month. I'm like, oh, hell no. I can't live off $1,500 a month. But I quit driving tow trucks, got with Bo, and here I am today.
Wow. That's dope. See, I wanted to know that about you. I read about you, man. That's pretty amazing, bro.
Yeah, and some of the things that Bo taught me, I learned more from what Bo didn't do right, but I learned a lot from what he did do right. But Bo wasn't a documentation type guy. He'd take pictures, put people together, but he didn't fill out reports. He never wanted to use nobody's name. He never wanted to answer to the government on what he's doing.
He's off the books with it.
He's off the books with it, and I had to find a healthy medium of how can we write reports and not implicate somebody in what they've done. How can I say, I made a call, when the police say, yeah, we got shootings over here and over here, and I say, well, I made a call. I made phone calls. And then I called people who made phone calls. But Bo didn't understand that. And he was like, man, they want to know who did it. They want to know this. So Bo would run from it. I'm like, man, we can find a healthy way to not tell on nobody, but also help the community. Wow. And I think that's where I stepped in with half a bit of brain and a lot of foot soldier type stuff.
That's amazing, man.
Yep.
That's pretty dope.
Yep. But I haven't been able to crack this radio station thing.
Oh, we are now.
Bo was on the radio. Kathy Hughes and Dewey Hughes, right? Mm-hmm. So he was on the radio. Yep. Kathy Hughes listened to Dewey, and Dewey was able to, was able to do what they do. And I know they had over 50-something radio stations at one time. I haven't talked to Kathy in a while.
Who is now, I think they sold Viacom for like $58 billion.
Right.
And now it's Paramount CBS, I believe, that owns Viacom, which is kind of crazy.
So that was a black lady. She's been here before. Kathy Hughes has been here. She's the Poetess used to work for her.
You should ask her what's up with the 58 bill.
Yeah, I mean, you know what she's done. You know what she's done though. When she closed the office, one time, and Bo had died, and she called James Ingram and said, "Hey, you guys get some money to get all this office stuff and give it to the guy Chip that be with Bo." That was me. I'm Skipp though, but she said, "Yeah, give it to Chip, the guy that be with Bo all the time." Right? So yeah, they put all the stuff in the storage for me, and I had that desk for about 7 years. It was a nice desk, nice furniture, whatever, and then James Ingram died. That broke my heart too. Wow. Yeah, but
legendary radio people.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Mm-hmm. So where do we go from here, man? Do we go to Sirius Radio?
You know, man, I think staying independent is the best thing anyone can ever do. I have my podcast on MikeLiveLA.com.
So then, how do you generate the millions of people that the radio station generate?
I don't. I'd rather touch one or two people than touch millions of people at this point. Okay. Because if I could get one or two people to see the story and see where I come from and see what I'm up to and see who I'm interviewing and take a look at the content, I'm cool with that.
All right, so we're going to get one person right now. Tell them how do they find you on?
Absolutely. At Mike Live LA, at Music and Talk Show. But yeah, MikeLiveLA.com.
Is that on YouTube? Or
Yeah, it's on YouTube. MikeLive100 is my YouTube channel. And yeah, man, I have a lot of content on there that I shot years ago on a little HD flip camera. You know what I mean? Up at UCLA, hanging out with a bunch of artists that blew up and just doing different things, you know.
MikeLive100?
MikeLive100. People don't realize, but like, if you're independent, you go way further. You just do. If someone else owns your content, then that's it. You're done. I mean, you know, not to like say that people that have gone to big corporations aren't doing their thing independently as well, but I feel like they have to somehow give in to the corporation because of the fact that they were independent, but now they're on a platform where they can't say exactly what they want to say. You know what I mean?
I mean, I think we hear about it too with artists complaining about like not owning their masters and like little issues, like big issues like that. Like, I mean, even Anita Baker at one point was like, "Don't stream my music." Like, what?
Wow.
Come on.
Yeah, and she finally got her masters, I think, or she reached some kind of agreement. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know all that stuff, but
Yeah.
I can understand. And I feel like now with the way that social media is going anyway, like independent artists are really going a lot further.
Yeah, I mean, now we can broadcast to a bunch of people easily.
Yeah.
You know, back in the day, when I hit that on-air mic and I went live, it was automatically going to like a certain amount of people because we knew that they were listening, right? Mm-hmm. That's not there anymore.
Yeah.
It's just not. Like, you're on your phone.
Right.
How many times you at the crib on your couch on your phone and you have the TV on?
All the time. And I've learned to listen to both at the same time.
You hear what's going on there.
I hear what's going on
Yeah.
TV and
Isn't that
still
sad?
listen to what's going on.
Isn't that sad,
on
though?
my
You
phone.
have so much media in front of you every day. So as an independent person, that's what I would say is I think you need to go through your channel, through your platform. You know?
Yeah.
Make it
Radio
special.
ain't it anymore.
It ain't it.
Yeah, you said you don't listen to radio.
Most people don't. I feel like now with Spotify and Apple Music and stuff like that.
But let me tell you, if you were Big Boy right now, you'd be getting a lot of money to be on all these radio stations because the corporation that signed you to own your content and syndicate your content is cutting you a fat check. And I don't know if you know this, but Big Boy doesn't even, he pays his staff out of his pocket. iHeart doesn't pay his staff. So some of these shows that are syndicated, they're not being paid by the radio station.
That's crazy.
So imagine that. You're answering phones for somebody making $30,000 a year to do 5 hours a day. You know what I'm saying? Because that person is paying you out their pocket for it.
Yeah.
So that means I have to push this show.
Come
and
on,
push
man.
this show right here. This is the Keilah and Skipp show, right? Is that Keilah right there? Right. So I got to push this so that we can do just as much as a radio station. I don't want Power to give me anything. Matter of fact,
Exactly.
I don't want nothing from Power.
Exactly.
I got my own, and got a co-host, and we got great minds, knowledgeable people like MikeLiveLA. So need you guys to follow him. I just subscribed to
Thank
your
you,
channel.
brother. Appreciate
just
it.
now. So
Appreciate it.
Asking all the people to follow, to like, subscribe. Skip Townsend, but also like and subscribe to MikeLiveLA.
Appreciate you, man.
Yes,
Thank
indeed.
you so much for the invite, too. Man.
Yes,
It was an honor,
indeed.
bro.
And, so what you going to lead the people with, if you have something to lead the people with, Keilah? What you going to lead the people with?
Shit, I think you hit the nail on the head. We don't need nothing from Power 106 at all. I'll just leave it at that. I think you're right. I didn't come in here with that mindset. I definitely would have been like, you know, your camera's not on me, by the way. Just let it go, bro.
Who is it on?
We're live
It's
anyway.
not on you?
God.
You better personally.
No, I would have came in probably with some, you know, demands. They need to hire more, you know, represent us more because they are, how I feel is like they playing our fucking music. Like, we're the target audience, Black and Hispanic people, I feel, for the most part, you know. So, but we have no representation. I just know, I think they just signed a Black DJ Wavy, at the same time all that other shit was popping off, literally like the same day. So, I mean, it's little steps like that, but in the bigger picture, you know, like you said, management and stuff. But now that we had this conversation, I'm like, well, shit, we don't need nothing from them. Like, because I feel like, I feel like over time, radio ain't going to be shit. At this point, like, it's always going to be there because of the labels and stuff. But honestly, I just don't think it's going to have much
Unless the
relevance.
internet get cut off, then radio ain't gonna be as what.
Exactly.
You know,
it's not gonna be
it.
relevant in people's lives, except old people.
Well, once a month around the 25th, my internet gets cut off. But I cut it back on. But I cut it back on, so, you know. So we'll be all right. What you going to lead the people with, Mike?
Be you. You know, be you. Don't be anybody else but you. And do what your heart tells you to do.
Facts.
You know, don't settle. Don't settle for, you know, what you have right now, because there's something better. Right. There's definitely something better. You know, people settle all the time. Don't settle.
Right.
You know, that's my last words.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
And I'm going to take a note from Mike about don't settle. Because for about a year and a half, that's the type of insurance I had. I had seller's insurance, where if anything happened, I had to sell it like this, right? So, yeah, don't settle. Always be on top of whoever you are. Believe in yourself. Yep. Imagine this, man, in 3rd grade, I was taught I wasn't going to make it nowhere, be nothing, and I started believing it. So for everybody been taught you ain't shit, trust me, you are. So with that being said, I got some theme music. We're going to give a shout out to Felicia. She not here. LaRon is behind the board. So bye, Felicia. I don't know where you at, but bye, Felicia. And LaRon, can I have my theme song, please? Thank you, my brother.
I ain't gonna lie, it's like I'ma spit some real shit for y'all right now. It's like, look, like when you grow up in the trenches, it's like society treats you different, man. Like, look at you different. It's like, man, you know, coming from where we from, man, we rolling the come with it. Look, they treat you different when you from the trenches. Bitch, I didn't grow up in no burb, I grew up in the village. Trying to get that shit up off the curb, I turned it to a menace. I wasn't hanging around with no girls, bitch, I was hitting fences. Childhood trauma, take it back to about the age of 9. Gunshots sounding like fireworks on 4th of July. I told myself